Resident Evil.
Resident Evil. Resident Evil 0. Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 5.
Hello and welcome to Show of the Week. We're back after a busy and successful week at the Eurogamer Expo, the video games mega convention!
Right, in fact we did so well we had this letter from our mysterious benefactors saying congratulations on a job well done and for our outstanding professionalism.
Check back for more previews. Damn it, I screwed that up.
There's a video on the site about Halo, not Halo.
But don't take our word for it. So yeah, that's nice. How have you been since the expo?
Oh, not great actually. I felt really weird all week since the expo. Yeah, I've been itchy and feverish. I'm constantly hungry.
Oh no. Well, I mean, weren't you bitten by that zombie?
No! No!
No, I don't think that's it. He just wanted to cuddle.
Oh, well what then?
So much free energy drink.
Oh boy. Oh well, I know what will make you feel better, and it's our game of the week.
Resident Evil 6 is out now, and the verdict is a resounding... So yeah. The reviews are more mixed than a bag of pick and mix hand mixed by Sir Mix-a-Lot, and we'll come to those later in the show, but first here's the skinny on the game itself. Resident Evil 6 is made up of 3 campaigns starring, in order of hair length, Leon Kennedy, Chris Redfield, and Jake Muller. Jake's the new kid, but Resi fans whose memories stretch back into the mists of the mid-90s will remember veterans Leon and Chris from the early games, and yet this time around the pair seem to have suffered dissociative amnesia. When did trying to reason with a zombie ever work for you before, Leon?
Mr. President!
The 3 overlapping stories blend horror and action in a genre we're calling haction and can be played in any order. But you don't have to play them back to back. When you finish a chapter as one Resi man, you can jump to a chapter from another Resi man. And in this way, you can dodge spoilers from the end of the game, saving the final chapters from each campaign until last. Anyway, you can play alone or with a co-op partner, since each hero comes with a sidekick. In reverse order of name and plausibility, Helena Harper, Sherry Birkin, and Piers Nivens. Oh, and you unlock another campaign when you finish those 3, starring Lone Wolf Ada Wong, who's ditched the usual strappy evening gown for a sensible all-leather get-up. Just as well with all that crawling around in vents. If that seems like a lot of people for one game, it might be because Resident Evil 6 was made by the biggest team ever assembled by Capcom. Over 600 people were put to work on this game, making for 85.7 development staff on each playable character. What do you mean there's other stuff in it? I like to think I know a little something about game design, thanks. So, some of those developers were also tasked with creating zombies and new mutant nasties known as Javo and the Chrysalids, who I think were up for the Mercury Music Prize last year. And on top of that, diverse environments taking in China, America and Eastern Europe, plus curious adversarial mode Agent Hunt, in which you can invade other players' games as an enemy creature. It's a huge game then, which is something the reviews can agree on. For the things they can't agree on, hang on just a minute.
Well, they also say we need to make things 50% more cinematic to justify our £15 per annum special effects budget. They're giving Resident Evil 6 as an example, which is handy because it's our game of the week. So, more QuickTime events then?
Yeah, sure, more QuickTime events. Could you pass me that apple?
Sure. Ooh, nice try. I'm going to go see what Mike's up to in the kitchen. Oh boy.
You alright?
Yeah, I just had some trouble with the door.
Oh, I get it. Resident Evil thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fair enough. Do you want a cup of tea?
I do, yes please. You know what, tap water's fine.
Alright. Did you read those Resident Evil 6 reviews?
Well.
We've gotten accustomed to finding a general consensus among game reviewers. Mostly that's 7 out of 10. Every so often though, a game comes along that smears itself across the entire critical spectrum. Resident Evil 6 is one such mucky game. I mean, look at this scattergraph of review scores. You don't get a diversity of organic yield like this with FIFA, that's for sure. IGN, for instance, reckons Resident Evil 6 sets new standards for the series, albeit with more low points than the Mariana Trench. While Destructoid compares Resident Evil 6 to a Michael Bay movie, by which they mean it's objectionable and hackneyed, like Transformers 2. We don't do reviews ourselves because all those people at Metacritic would lose their jobs when it got shut down in the face of our overwhelming correctness. So instead, we've picked out some points on which the critics agreed and disagreed on Resident Evil 6. For starters, everyone says this is a gigantic game. With 7-hour campaigns for each of the main characters, quantity at least isn't in question. But how about quality? One thing that jumps out like a scripted zombie attack is most reviewers decided Leon's campaign is both the strongest and closest in spirit to the classic Resident Evil 4. Games TM writes, "The opening section in Tall Oaks University boasts moody lighting, extremely detailed gothic environments, and a horror flavour that flows between suspense, shock and panic with expert timing. As the campaign progresses, we're treated to the Leon game we always knew could exist, if only the technology could make it happen." Joystick's review had a similar preference. It says, "Leon's part has a good balance of methodical shooting and frantic sieges. Some standout moments like a tumultuous minecart boss battle and a brief alliance with civilians in a monster-infested town are scattered throughout, making this the best, most rounded campaign of the bunch." The portion starring newcomer Jake Muller doesn't fare quite as well according to the majority of reviewers. Polygon took particular issue with the moment when, quote, "Jake takes a break from zombie slaying for an inexplicable and infuriating stealth sequence complete with a buggy crescendo, where failing to understand the game's poorly explained suggestive course of action causes the enemy AI to freak out." Still, official Xbox magazine found something to like in Jake and Sherry's stint on a snowy mountainside. It says, "This involves a trip up a glacial slope in the face of sniper fire. Fall over under the weight of bullets and you'll slide all the way to the bottom like an incredibly macho toboggan. It's a beautiful moment, believe it or not." Resident Evil 6 also introduces a new flavour of enemy, the Jarvo, and the reactions are conflicting. The notoriously grumpy Edge magazine was relatively positive. The Jarvo, it says, further develop Resident Evil 4's ingenious decision to unpredictably reward headshots with a more monstrous head. As well as sprouting a new noggin when decapitated, they can swap amputated limbs for huge sinewy arms and ostrich-like legs that let them easily close distance. Whereas Eurogamer.net was less keen on tentacle interaction, saying, "The Jarvo do little to distinguish themselves from the cultural throng of undead. There may be the occasional sprouting, a tentacle through the neck here, a maggot-like arm protrusion there, but the horror is overfamiliar." No one is quick to praise the basic mechanics of killing things. GameSpot, patience worn thin by "you are dead, game over" screens, says, "Quicktime events are prominent to the point of distraction." And though IGN praises the wide-eyed B-movie horror, it bemoans all the monotonous gunfights. Videogamer.com similarly notes the unevenness of the game, calling it a brave, muddled and ultimately schizophrenic experience, while Eurogamer more damningly says, "This game is blind to imagination and focus." So there you have it. The only thing more all over the place than the Resident Evil 6 review scores is Resident Evil 6 itself. If you're looking for universal acclaim, get a kitten. Everyone loves those. But if you're unperturbed by mixed reviews, be sure to check the free demo first, which has a slice of each of the main campaigns. In fact, you can catch Andy and me playing it at the link below.
So you're just going to have to make up your own mind.
All right. No, it's not working.
Alright, how about this?
Yes.
Right, first up are some comments on Minecraft, specifically my Minecraft world, to which some of you were invited to get the Honour Rail achievement, which some of you interpreted as "please burn down my city, fill it with Wang statues."
There, we've been through this.
It's my life's work.
The Mansaraj echoes Jane's sentiments by saying, "Minecraft plus 12-year-olds equals dicks and lava everywhere."
So it would seem.
Also, SlyMC182 says, "Jane, at a few points in this video you sound like you are channeling just a little bit of Wheatley into your narration."
Ugh, I hate having to work with these smelly humans. Also, in reply to our DMC preview from Eurogamer Expo, Rarika Adachi says, "Please tell me that I'm the only one who still can't force herself to appreciate the art style of the new DMC sad face."
Not at all, I'm forcing myself right now. Looks alright.
Wonderful. Meanwhile, Alex X the Killer says of our Black Ops 2 multiplayer video, Microsoft Points Generator, free and legit for all. Check this prof video.
Thanks, Alex. That sounds great.
You know that's a scam though, right?
So maybe don't give them my credit card.
No, definitely don't do that. Yeah.
I've got some phone calls to make.
Sure. Okay, while you do that, Tom Wibberley says of our Gears of War Judgment video, guys, I played this and it was totally worth the wait. Think they're really moving back away from the whole mainstream thing from Gears 3. If you like the smoothness of Gears 3 and the mechanics of Gears 1, then this is the game for you. Smiley, smiley, smiley face.
Right, so let's move away from the mainstream back to Gears 1, which sold 5.8 million copies. Anyway, finally, Askd, which is less of a username and more of someone just smashing their fist against the keyboard, says of our Army of Two fist bumps video, it's called DAP, not fist bumps, Jesus Christ!
And we did look it up on Urban Dictionary, and in fact it is the top definition for DAP, and there are some other definitions.
Never, ever look at the other definition.
Jesus
I know.
Right, I'm gonna go check on Andy. He wasn't feeling very well, so...
Fair enough.
All right.
See ya.
Hey champ, how you feeling?
Yeah, much better actually. And I nailed the QuickTime event a second ago.
All
Let me show you.
Yeah, that was good, really good. Nearly had it, getting better all the time. So that was Show of the Week for another week. Thanks for watching Outside Xbox, and we'll see you again next time.
Watching, thanks. So next time, Outside Xbox back